Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You need water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. We appreciate you joining the show. However, you may be joining the show, whether you're listening to us on iHeartRadio, tune in, or the FM dial. If you're watching the show, Super Talk TV is up and running. We are on we're on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all the things, and we appreciate you joining us. We are having we're kicking off the show with a little technical difficulties on YouTube, and I think we only have a double shot going on right now, but that's fine. We're happy to be joining you guys on YouTube. Shout out to the YouTube chat. We'll be getting this fixed up in a matter of moments. We have Mason Fleming is out today, but we got RJ in here filling in, and we're grateful for that. Joan Jones is in the newsroom, and you guys are always the most important part of the show, whether you want to join in on the text line, the YouTube chat, or the phone lines, 615-737-9986. You're more than welcome to turn the monologue into a dialogue. I'd love to get your thoughts on the Super Bowl. I would love to get your instant reaction to the Turning Point USA halftime show. There were ICE protests outside the game, of course. Of course there were. But we had an awesome halftime show from Turning Point USA. And I think it's important to set the table as to why Turning Point USA had to do the halftime show in the first place. We need to understand the slap in the face that the NFL has been giving to the overwhelming majority of their fan base for years. It's been happening forever, insinuating that just the regular guys watching the game are racist. They've been doing the black national anthems. They've been kneeling. We've had woke slogans in the end zone. We've had flamboyantly gay male cheerleaders. It has been over and over and over again where it feels like they are just spitting in the face of their core audience. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. I know you feel the exact same way. It's like, why on earth do I need to be subjected to this when I just want to kick my feet up and watch the game? And then in the latest edition of the woke virtue signaling from the NFL, they decide to pick a halftime show where they're not even going to speak in English. The majority, overwhelming majority, 90-some% of your audience doesn't speak Spanish. I know. They like football in South America, different football. The majority of your audience doesn't speak Spanish. So you're going to put on a halftime show that the majority of your audience can't understand at all. You select a dude that craps on America and wears dresses, and you're platforming this guy while we're trying to watch the games with our sons and our kids, and it's ridiculous. I hope the NFL feels the turnover from that. I saw, about 6 million live viewers at the peak on YouTube. That's not adding in Daily Wire Plus. That's not adding in Rumble. That's not adding in TBN. That's not adding in Real America's Voice. Before the halftime show kicked off, Patrick Bet-David, I'm sure you're familiar with him, PBD, he said Roger Goodell is praying the TPUSA halftime show doesn't hit 3 million on their YouTube live stream. So this could be a complete disruption to the halftime show business model. $10 million commercial spots are on the line. This could be a topic of discussion tomorrow. I think it is going to be a topic of discussion inside the NFL boardrooms. I don't know if this is going to absolutely affect ad prices. I mean, the ads during the Super Bowl halftime show, they're not running in like dynamic pricing models where, okay, you pay X if we reach Y viewers, you pay Y if we reach X viewers. It doesn't work like that. Maybe it impacts a little bit next year. Maybe you don't see the price increase. Generally, they go up every year. Maybe you don't see the price increase that you would have seen. Maybe they do lose some money over it. Before it was all said and done, again, 6 million plus on YouTube, 300-ish thousand on Rumble. And again, that's not to mention TBN, Real America's Voice, Daily Wire. It was just insane numbers for the Turning Point USA halftime show. Before we even get into the performance, to look at the metrics, you can't say it was anything but just a resounding success for the guys at Turning Point USA. And when it was all said and done, Fox News reporting this morning that they had over 10 million viewers.
Alternative halftime performance, the show drawing in more than 10 million live viewers and more than 25 million views on social media platforms. The Turning Point team also dedicated those performances to the life of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, they had a really nice tribute to Charlie at the end of it, which we will play. But I saw the viral videos, as I'm sure you did. There were people at the game, at the Super Bowl, watching the Turning Point USA halftime show on their phones with earbuds in. Based. Absolutely based. Could you imagine paying that kind of money? So we root for the Patriots in my house. Not exactly a great game. As I grew up outside of Boston, it's hard not to root for the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But my boys were like, "Hey, this is before the game. They're like, "Hey, can we go to the Super Bowl?" They don't understand the concept of money. We just full disclosure, like, no, we can't because we can't afford that. But my answer wasn't. I didn't tell the kids like, "There's no way Dad can afford that." I said, "Do you know how mad I would be if we spent $10,000 a ticket and the Patriots lost?" They were like, "Oh, good point." And then we saw the game we saw, and they were like, "Yeah, we're glad we didn't go." But the halftime show was clearly the highlight for all the Patriots fans, and it was a great halftime show. Brantley Gilbert was dope. I became a Brantley Gilbert fan. I don't know if you were already a Brantley Gilbert fan. I'm not the biggest country music fan, but we are going to have country music star Mary Cutter in studio on Friday. I like what I like, but I never like dive in. When I was really, you dive into music when you're younger and, learn all the artists, learn the catalog. And when I was in that phase, I was all hip hop. So I never really got into country music. And as Brantley Gilbert's performing, I'm like, oh, man, I have heard this song. Oh, man, I have heard this song. And he was awesome. He set the tone. America first, strong performance, hell of a voice, great stage presence. He crushed. And then Gabby Barrett also did awesome. Lee Brice also did awesome. And you know what? I'm sure you paid attention to the headlines before. Kid Rock got a lot of hate as the headliner. He absolutely did. People were like, "What are you doing? Why is Kid Rock going to be your headliner? This is underwhelming." But I'll tell you what, when Kid Rock hit the stage, he did Ba with the Ba, which was awesome. But that close of Till You Can't, it was like, this is exactly why Kid Rock is doing the halftime show.
I couldn't take my eyes off the TV.
I mean, right? Like, yeah. It was like every bit of hate that he had gotten, every bit of criticism, all of the just vitriol just completely washed away. And it wasn't just like the leftists. It was conservatives too. We're like, why is it Kid Rock? It as soon as Till You Can't came on, it completely washed away. And he performed it as Rob Ritchie. He shed the Kid Rock persona, and it just felt so real and so raw. And then you have this audience of 10 million plus, and Kid Rock uses that opportunity to tell millions of people to give your life to Jesus as he unleashes this third verse for Till You Can't, which was just honestly the highlight of the night for me.
I awoke one Sunday morning all alone with this song stuck in my head. And in that moment, something or someone spoke to me. They said there was still a verse that needed to be written for this song, and to get up and write it down. There's a book that's sitting in your house somewhere that could use some dusting off. There's a man who died for all our sins, hanging from the cross.
Anybody else get goosebumps right at that point?
Your life to
Oh,
Jesus,
yeah.
And he'll give you a second chance till you can't. Till you can't. If you got a chance, take it while you got a chance. If you got a dream, chase it, 'cause a dream won't chase you back. If you're gonna love somebody, hold them as long and as strong and as close as you can, until you can.
I mean, when you like, oh my gosh, I'm getting chills right now. You think about the opportunity that the NFL has to make just such a positive impact on so many young viewers, and how they just decide not to. And instead we get, Spanish-speaking singers, dudes humping each other, and ridiculousness. They could have done something so much more powerful. And Turning Point USA saw that they dropped the ball in that realm, and they picked it up and they ran with it. Kid Rock had 10 million live viewers hear him saying it's time to give your life over to Jesus, and it's just phenomenal. I mean, I know a lot of parents, and granted, we're in the conservative circles, but I know a lot of parents that weren't going to be watching that Bad Bunny halftime show. And they turned it over to the Turning Point USA halftime show, and this was the message that those young Americans received. God bless Kid Rock for doing what he did. It was chills. Hair on the back of my neck stood up. And then they closed out with Charlie Kirk and the Isaiah 6:8, Here I Am, Send Me. And that was just also an incredible tribute to Charlie. We've had quite a few tributes to Charlie, but it was nice to see just one more on this stage when you knew how many eyes were on the product. It was unbelievable. And then you think about the ripple effect that's coming after that, where it's not just the live viewers that saw that. Now everybody's going to see the clips today. Everybody wants to know what happened at the Turning Point halftime show. It was a resounding success, closing with this tribute for Charlie Kirk. Camera turns away from Kid Rock, and it moves to a picture of Charlie, and it says, in remembrance of Charlie Kirk, and then it fades to black, and they play this video.
I want to honor God in all that I do. I want to be a great husband, a great father. I want to serve this country. I want to try to continue to lead this movement and to speak truth and to never lie. To stop thinking about yourself all the time and instead think about what you should do to help other people and to defend this country above yourself. I'm so inspired. This army of freedom fighters, we're going to be around for the next 100, 200 years because we know in the end our ideas will win. God should be the most important thing in your life. But then beyond that, it's getting married, having children, building families. My kids are my most important thing in my world. My wife and my kids and my relationship with God, the top three things. And the more often that you choose the deep, the difficult, but the right path over the easy path is one that will reward you, your family, and this beautiful nation.
Could you imagine if the NFL had tried to air a message like that for the youth of the nation? Could you imagine the ripple effects we'd see in this country if 127-something million people heard that message instead of whatever the hell Bad Bunny was? I mean, honestly, could you imagine? Don't think about yourself. Think about your country. Think about your family. Do something bigger than yourself. Do the right thing, even when it's difficult. That's what America needs right now. That's the message. And that should be on that Super Bowl stage. But it seems like they've just abdicated all duty of anything. They don't care. They just bow down to these corporate woke overlords, and it's just insanity. 615-737-9986. Let's go to Robert in Nashville. What'd you think of the halftime shows?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, Chris?
Good, man. How are you?
Loved it. Doing great. Hadn't talked to you in a while, and just love your show. We watched it as a family. We do that every year. We have for years and years. I loved it. I will tell you this: we're a Christian family. My wife and my son were initially a little bit disappointed because it was a Charlie Kirk Turning Point USA thing, and they thought it would be a little bit more Christian-based music initially. I will say that Kid Rock crushed it at the end, and I'm with you. I mean, it just overwhelming, that last verse that he put out there. My wife this morning said, well, it was a good start, and I told her flat out, I just enjoyed the whole thing. It was a different take than, to your point, this cultural chaos that the NFL is going through, bowing down to this nastiness. I enjoyed the whole thing. They, like I said, they initially, I think, were a little bit disappointed. The other thing they will need to tweak for next year, and I think they got no cooperation from the NFL for this. When that show was over, the good show, our show, they were already back in to the game, and I think the Patriots had actually already gone through an entire series that was missed because we were watching
Yeah.
that part of the show.
I mean,
I
that's
think
that's
the
like one of those
NFL
things.
did that on purpose.
Yeah, maybe you might be right. I mean, you're definitely rolling dice there, right? Like it's a tough thing to time out. Something they'll definitely have to
Yeah.
clean up next year.
Now,
But go ahead.
I would like to add one more thing. Now, you said it was a horrible game. I have to debate you on that a little bit. They say that offense puts ratings up on the board, but defense wins championships. If you're an actual football coach, especially a defensive coach, it's a heck of a game.
I don't know.
Defenses were
I was
lethal.
towards
Those
the end of it. I
defenses
was
were
like,
lethal.
man, there was that one call that they didn't call towards the end of the game where the Patriots clearly had defensive pass interference, and I thought to myself, man, the refs are trying to fix it so that way they cover the spread.
Well,
that's just insanity.
In fairness, that's a whole other topic that you guys have covered a little bit, and that's with this whole sports betting thing. And look who gets caught up in all of that.
Yep.
Players, coaches, officials, and all the other.
Yep.
And look how big sports betting is. So the whole thing's just gotten corrupt. I loved the halftime show. Like I said, my wife, even this morning as we were discussing it, said, well, that was a very good first show, as a starting point, and it should get better next year. So hopefully they do that again next year to get people away from this culture.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, with how much
everything you do.
Likewise, sir, and I appreciate.
Go ahead.
I appreciate the call. I was just going to say, I think with the resounding success, and I appreciate the call, Robert. I think with the resounding success of the halftime show, it's hard to say that they won't do it again next year. I mean, I think that they have to. Eric and Maurice, we'll get to your calls on the other side. It's 9:23. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. February's here. Valentine's Day is literally around the corner, days away. And Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is doing actually something pretty cool for it. If you're a new customer and you join the Beehive, you get a Beehive membership anytime this month, you're going to be automatically entered into their Valentine's Sweetheart Deal giveaway. One winner is getting a relaxing couples massage and spa package from Third Coast Salt. They were just named Wilson County's best, and a $100 Visa gift card for a legit dinner date. This is not a bad deal. They're going to be doing the drawing live on Friday, February 13th, Facebook Live. So keep out an eye for that. And while we're at it, Tennessee Weather does what Tennessee Weather does. Busy Bee's ready with some serious savings to protect your home. 40% off whole home surge protectors with repairs. $500 off whole home water repipes. And the one everybody knows, 93 are free mainline clog deal. If they can't clear it, you don't pay for it. 615-775-7833. That's the number for Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Good morning. It is 9:28. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Another Nashville family reports their home went up in flames within minutes of getting their power back. Ricky Washington says his parents have lived in their North Nashville home since 1973, and now everything is gone. He spoke to WSMV4 about NES's power restoration efforts.
To NES, we'd like to say that you guys never told people that they should cut off their breakers when a situation of the power going out.
3 other homes on the same street, he says, erupted in flames when the power was restarted. 4 businesses were destroyed in a Fayetteville fire Sunday morning. Firefighters are saying that it started in one business on Market Street at 3:30 in the morning. And once it got up into the roof lines of the historic buildings, the fire started jumping from one building to the next. The businesses destroyed are the Mercantile on Market business, Dance Academy Fayetteville, the Skin Refinery, and Young Vintage. Some of the businesses also had rental homes above their businesses. Those homes were destroyed. 3 firefighters were injured. Their injuries were not considered life-threatening. The cause of that fire is not yet known. It's been a week since the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie disappeared from her home, and now a possible vehicle of interest.
That vehicle may have been spotted in a 45-minute window from the Sunday morning at about 1:47 a.m. to 2:28 a.m. when police believe Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home against her will. That's the window in which a doorbell camera disconnected, when a camera inside the home sent a signal that an intruder was inside, even though it wasn't set up to record an image, and when Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker disconnected from her phone.
That's ABC's Aaron Katursky. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res Nashville. Maybe you had a Super Bowl party last night. Maybe you got some queso on the rug. Maybe somebody spilled some salsa. Maybe they spilled something far, far worse, and you got a mess to clean up. What are you going to do? You're going to call my friends at Zero Res. These guys are the Maha of carpet cleaning. They'll use exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. Your carpets are going to look insanely clean. Your upholstery is going to look unbelievable, and they're all going to stay clean longer. So say goodbye to the queso stain. Say goodbye to the salsa stain. Zero Res can clean it up for you. And it's not just carpets. They'll do air ducts. They'll do tile. They'll do rugs. The works. It's perfect. If you got some stains on your floor where you're wondering, well, where did that come from? Call Zero Res today, and you'll be wondering, where did that go? 615-535-9376. That's the number for my friends at Zero Res. 615-535-9376. And you can always book online, ZeroResNashville.com. It's 9:36, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I posted a meme last night on my Instagram and on my TikTok, at Chris Hand on air, and it's AI. It's all AI, and it's fat JD Vance with a jerry curl, and he's putting a flaming bag of dog poop on Bad Bunny's doorstep. And somebody said to me, "Oh, very Christian of you. Very Christian of you." Okay. Yeah. It was the 11th commandment, thou shalt not joke. So, yeah, I apologize. I'll be taking it down later. But maybe you should see it before I delete it. It's up there on Instagram and TikTok, at Chris Hand on air. A couple people weighing in. Somebody said, 4559 takes it in. Kid Rock's actual songs from his album. And they list off all these songs. Early Morning Stone Pimp, Wax the Booty, Make It Nasty, Pimp of the Nation, Trick with the Dope Dealer, blah, 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 on and on and on and on. Got it. I would just say God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And there's so many people who have had a Jesus moment and weren't exactly following that path earlier in life. Hey, you know who else has had a Jesus moment and wasn't following that path earlier in their life? Yep, it would be me. And you know what else? We still all fall short. The same texter, 4559, said, have you actually seen the Bad Bunny performance? Did you see his message? If you have not seen it, then you have no credibility to comment on the Bad Bunny message. And yes, I have seen it. And I listened to it. I watched it. I saw men humping each other. That's a great message for the kids. I saw them waving flags of other nations. And, this is what it sounded like.
Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Brasil, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Panamá, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala.
It felt like a humiliation ritual. The only thing more powerful than love, or more powerful than hate, is love. That was the message. Got it. Yep. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. Let's be fair. Let's go to an impartial source. I know I have a conservative lean. Did the people like it? So let's. I went to Sports Illustrated. They had how many followers do they have on X? They got 1.8 million followers on social media on X, and they posted after the halftime show, rate Bad Bunny's performance 1 to 10. And everything in the comments is just trashing Bad Bunny. 0. Somebody X'd out the number 1. It just says -10. TPUSA was the best halftime show in over a decade. On a scale of 1 to 10, 0 was utter rubbish. He got booed. The show was terrible. Didn't watch it, but from what I've seen, Bad Bunny was flying flags from foreign countries. That's a big no for the Super Bowl halftime show. Everybody's going in and roasting this in the comments. How many comments did they have on their post? They had 48,000 comments, and upon my search through them, I would say 95% said the Bad Bunny performance was trash. Let's go to another impartial source, TMZ. They put a poll up yesterday on what halftime show was better. They have over 300,000 votes. Poll's still up currently, 10 hours left to vote. Kid Rock is winning with 66% to Bad Bunny's 35%. That's for an audience of 8.4 million followers. And I wouldn't necessarily call TMZ right-leaning by any stretch of the imagination. What did you think? 615-737-9986. Let's go to Maurice in Franklin. What's up, Maurice?
Hey, Phil. Hi, Chris. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
Hey, listen, here's my comment, and I'll listen. I'll let you speak, and I'll listen. Well, first of all, I think the NFL should be given a penalty flag for personal foul. I think that they owe the American people an apology, and the penalty for the personal foul. I think everybody should sign up on a website. Just check yes or check no. That they will next year and the year after DVR all the Super Bowl games and zip through the commercials and zip through the halftime, so they know all the people who put in these commercials that nobody will be watching them and nobody will be watching the halftime. and that should be their penalty.
I love it, Maurice. Thanks for the call. The commercials, I don't know. The commercials, some of them were bad. I didn't. The Levi's one with the butt shaking in the face was a bit much for us. But there were some good commercials too. We'll talk about the good ones on the way. Eric in White House, what's up? What do you think about the halftime shows?
Well, also the commercial, and there was only one good one, and that was the one where it was actually kind of like a little emotionally brought in for men with prostate, and it was like serious at first, and then they just made it hilarious. But there was one commercial that was funny. But aside from that, my wife and I, when we went in, you know, all the last month too, you're seeing social media pumping in all the famous stars like George Strait and, you know, Carrie Underwood, whatnot.
Yep.
Which I don't know if that was hype, pump, fake, but the more that I thought about it, and we spoke a lot about it because we did not watch the halftime show, didn't want to. It was disgusting, I heard. The fact that they did bring these younger folks in who are not already well-established artists that have fan bases that are biased one way or the other based on their music versus their beliefs. I mean, you can go down that rabbit trail, but it'll absolutely – I think it would have washed over what the intent with this halftime show was, because I sat there with my wife, and when it comes to God and religion and my faith, yeah, I get emotional. I was in flipping tears on my couch.
Watching the Kid Rock?
Yeah, and his message, and I'm from Detroit. I grew up, and I was 15, 16 when we moved, and he was not existing at that time as a musician, but as he did, I followed him, and I was like, some of it, yeah, pretty hard. I didn't care to listen to it. But over the years, I've watched him develop and grow, and it started with patriotism with America, and it's like transition as if God is using him as an instrument later in his life, as he does so many of us. And
I see the same thing, and I don't know what his faith journey is like, you know, and I'm not going to sit here and judge his faith journey, but I do know, and I lived in Detroit for a couple of years. They love him up there. And the work that he does in the community is unbelievable. And I think it was here a couple of years ago where he went into a Walmart and cleared out the bill on all the layaway stuff right before Christmas. And it doesn't get publicized as much as it should. But he is like consistently making these amazing moves. So when people try to bludgeon him with his past lyrics, it's like, okay, yep, okay. Great.
Look at all the past people in the Bible, like you said, that God used that were not great people.
I mean, I think
the worst of the worst.
Out of all the people in the Bible, the only one that didn't have a checkered past would have been Jesus. I think just about everybody else had a checkered past. Hey, Eric, I appreciate the call.
I appreciate you, man.
Hey, appreciate you as well. Donald Trump on the Super Bowl halftime show said it is absolutely terrible, one of the worst ever. It makes no sense, and an affront to the greatness of America, and doesn't represent our standards of success, creativity, or excellence. Nobody understands what this guy is saying, and the dancing is disgusting, especially for young children that are watching from throughout the U.S. and all over the world. This show is just a slap in the face to our country, which is setting new standards and records every single day. And then he goes on to tout the successes of America. But he says there's nothing inspirational about this mess of a halftime show. And watch, it will get great reviews from the fake news media because they haven't got a clue of what's going on in the real world. And by the way, the NFL should immediately replace the ridiculous kickoff rule. You got to get the jab in on the kickoff rule. He's right, though. He's absolutely right. This is a slap in the face, and it is going to be applauded by the mainstream media. It's like the Rotten Tomatoes score versus the critics score, right? Or the user score. You'll have the critics saying it was stunning and brave, and everybody else is like, this is crap. Total crap. 615-737-9986. Bobby in Nashville, you're up next. What's up, Bobby?
Hey, Chris, I just want to get this by you, brother. A little earlier I was hearing there was a lot of shaking going on at the Super Bowl, but, brother, down there Sunday morning at WOC, hey, brother, we was doing some shaking down there. We had the choir going. Man, we had one heck of a service this past Sunday morning. But anyway, Turning Point USA, the word's out that they're going to do it again next year, and the way they're talking for the halftime show, it's going to be bigger than ever, and that's all I got to say, brother. I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. It was a huge win, and I appreciate the call. And yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't do it next year. Let's go to Brian on the halftime show. What's up, Brian? How are you?
What's up, brother? The TPUSA shocked me. The reason why it was so professionally done, I did not expect that. You know, they're new to that part of their business, I guess. But they must have, and you know this, they must have an amazing broadcast team, show team, whatever. I saw how they did Charlie's memorial in just 7 days or something.
Yeah, I mean
So
the production didn't surprise me at all. The person in charge of a lot of that is Lauren Tonsich, and she's an absolute beast. She does a phenomenal job. It was tough. I was trying to be as critical as I could, knowing all the people that run the behind the scenes stuff, but they executed flawlessly. I was very impressed with what they did.
And for everybody out there that thinks that Chris Hands just jumps on the bandwagon every time, they don't listen to you every day. It's just like they're saying about Kid Rock. I mean, God says all have fallen short.
Yep.
And like you just said, the only one that you can think of in the Bible that was perfect was one, and he's still perfect. And we're not, but that's no reason not to give glory where it's deserved. And Kid Rock has had a checkered past. I mean, nobody wants to be around somebody cusses all the time or does something they don't agree with morally or ethically. But I cuss, and I'm a Christian, and I don't brag about that. I wish I didn't. I wish it didn't come to mind and it come out of my mouth, but sometimes it does. And I don't do that to show that I'm flawed, even though I do. And I don't want somebody to think I'm holier than thou. But the thing about Kid Rock is he's changing, and that's all God asks is for us to change. That's why you should repent. That's why you should, and change your life, and that means turn the other way. And I'm not saying he's doing it because I don't know his heart. Also, I don't think that we should put TPUSA on a pedestal, and I guarantee you they don't either.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Amen. I appreciate the call, Brian. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the show. 615-737-9986. Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I fall short. We all fall short. There's only one perfect human, and it was Jesus. But God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And I thought Kid Rock's performance last night was unbelievable. Robert wants to talk about the national anthem. Which one, Robert? Which national anthem?
I want to know why they had to have two. That was one of the first reasons I chose not to watch the whole thing was because you don't need another national anthem for a U.S.-based sports event.
I'm with you.
Star Spangled Banner.
I'm with you. It was like I saw that come on. It was like eye rolling intensifies. I felt like the room was spinning with the amount of eye rolling I was doing. Let's have a national anthem, a separate national anthem for 13% of the population, while we also try to push this message of unity at the exact same time. Tell me how these two things make sense side by side.
They don't make sense, but like I said, that's my first reason for not wanting to watch anything yesterday.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, Rob, and I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986. Now, with all of that, right, and the wokeness that you saw in the halftime show, we did have a couple cultural victories in the commercials that were massive, and I think that they deserve to be highlighted. A pro-life ad aired during the Super Bowl. We're making strides in the culture war. It's not completely over. We haven't completely won, but seeing commercials like this during the Super Bowl absolutely tell you that you're heading in the right direction as a culture. Starts with a woman looking at a pregnancy test, and she's not.
I know you never expected this.
She's having a tough time.
The voices and the anger are so loud. I know you envisioned things differently. They're telling you that you've only got two choices. But the truth is, there's three. Are these options difficult? Of course they are. But you deserve to know. Adoption is an option.
Unbelievable. Very powerful ad. And it with my kids, I'll often use the line like "choose your heart," right? Like, and it's never stuff this deep, right? It's like, hey, you don't want to do your homework. Your homework is hard. Okay, but getting an F is also hard. Which one is hard? Is doing the homework hard, or is getting F the hard? Like, they're both hard, but you get to choose your hard. And when I saw this commercial, that kind of line just like weighed in my head. And it's like, choose your heart. All of these options are hard. But there are other options out there than terminating the pregnancy. And I thought that was a massive win. And when you get to air that in front of 120-something million people, that's huge. That's huge. There's also a pro-ICE ad released during the Super Bowl, which I thought was equally as powerful, where they didn't paint them as Nazis or the Gestapo. They painted them as patriots and men and women of this country who have families, and they live here and they love this country.
They're friends and neighbors, sons, fathers. They're little league coaches and veterans. They're people who love this country. These are Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers. They are removing violent criminals from our streets and neighborhoods. It's dangerous and difficult work, but ICE has one mission: to make America a safer place to live, and that's what they're doing. This is law enforcement. This is ICE.
You had a huge portion of the audience saying, God bless him. And then you had a huge portion of the audience who are leftists and lunatics losing their ever-loving mind when that one aired. I'm here for it. And then there was a third ad. This is an ad about Epstein survivors. This was released on Super Bowl Sunday, and I thought that this was a powerful ad as well. It opens up with a bunch of women. It says, on November 19th, 2025, the Epstein's Transparency Act was signed into law, and then you see a black marker strike through transparency. 3 million files have still not been released. And then you're seeing a black line across all the women's mouths.
After years of being kept apart, we're standing together.
Standing together.
Because this girl deserves the truth.
Because she deserves the truth.
Because we all deserve the truth.
It says, stand with us. Tell Attorney General Pam Bondi it's time for the truth. And it was paid for by World Without Exploitation. Some people are pointing that was paid for by Reid Hoffman of LinkedIn, who you can make the argument was in the weeds in the Epstein files. I don't know to what extent he was involved or wasn't involved. But if anyone tells you that we're not moving in the right direction in this country, they're lying. And those three ads are complete evidence of that. On the Epstein front, if you were to zoom out 10 years ago when this stuff started dropping, when the WikiLeaks emails came out about John Podesta, and you said that within 10 years' time, we would be seeing the Epstein name platformed on the biggest stage of them all, and the mass public being awoke into what's been happening, people would probably look at you like you're crazy. They probably would. The fact that the calls for the transparency and charges against these monsters is reaching critical mass is huge. And it's not going to reach critical mass. We're not going to get what we need until we apply maximum pressure on the FBI and the DOJ. There's an email that's been floating around from that dump of 3 million files where it's from March of 2025. The to is redacted and who it was sent to is redacted. But they're talking about redacting politicians, former presidents, secretaries of states, and celebrities from the Epstein files as they're going through the redaction process. That can't be allowed to fly. It just can't. We can't allow that. Now, there'll be people that will point at Trump and say that it's his fault. And I guess to a certain extent, that's correct. But I would place the blame on the FBI and the DOJ. Donald Trump is not personally going through and redacting every single one of the 3 million files. He's trusting the people that he put in place. This is where you can kind of put some blame back on Trump. He put those people in place. And I don't know if you recall, but Donald Trump doesn't exactly have the best record on picking attorney generals or FBI directors. Looking at you, Chris Wray, Bill Barr, Sessions, now Bondi. I like that this ad aired. I like that the calls for transparency are there, and I hope that we see some arrests, and I don't think we will unless the pressure continues. Donald Trump needs to stop making unforced errors, saying it's time to turn the page. It is not time to turn the page. We need to see arrests. We need to see high-profile arrests and these monsters exposed. Then it'll be time to turn the page. And until that happens, people need to still keep harping on this, and they will. And that commercial last night was evident of that, and we'll be harping on it as well. The conversations continue online. They're still diving through those 3 million files, and I hope that those calls for transparency and arrests get louder and louder and louder until they can't be ignored. This is one of the things that I think is tough, and why Donald Trump needs to be back on Twitter personally. I think that he's siloed a bit. I do. And I don't think Truth Social is the free speech platform that he thinks it is. It's an echo chamber. And I think that we need to keep going. Thomas Massey is going to be going to look at those unredacted files. I hope that he looks at that one from the FBI where they're talking about, who we got to redact these presidents. We got to redact these secretaries of states. And I hope that he comes out and tells us who that email is from and who it was to. Because that information matters. It matters a lot. And we'll keep our eyes on that story as it develops. It's 9:57. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. NES is reporting 112 customers without power at the moment. That number's been climbing all morning. The Electric Power Board, meantime, is meeting today. One topic they'll discuss is whether customers will see a rate hike to pay for the response from the storm.
I'd be pretty ticked off if that happened. I don't know what I can do, but that'd be pretty upsetting for all the customers of NES because we already got screwed out of power for 10 days with no communication or anything.
That man speaking to WSMV4. The Power Board still meeting at this hour. Another Nashville family reports their home went up in flames within minutes of getting their power back. Ricky Washington saying that his parents lived in their North Nashville home since 1973, and now everything is gone. He spoke to WSMV4.
To NES, we'd like to say that you guys never told people that they should cut off their breakers when a situation of the power going out.
3 other homes on the same street, he says, erupted in flames when the power was restored. The 2 suspects in a deadly Goodlettsville Taco Bell shooting have turned themselves in.
Maurice Thompson and Iana Pittman are charged in the shooting on Long Hollow Pike. That's where officers found a man who'd been shot inside a car around 1 Friday morning.
Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter. That man died later at a hospital. Arguments begin this week in a landmark case. A teenager suing social media companies, accusing them of making their platforms addicting.
She claims that the tech companies borrowed techniques that were used by slot machines in the cigarette industry to hook younger users like her. She says that these features like endless scrolling or notifications got her addicted to social media, eventually leading to depression, anxiety, and body image issues. The tech companies have argued that there are other factors that contribute to the mental health of young users.
That's ABC's Elizabeth Schultze. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We've been talking about the Super Bowl, and a listener sent me this. 4634. Shout out to 4634. Elmo tweeted about the halftime performance. Elmo. This is just it highlights that there's an agenda to go after your kids. And there's an agenda to make them a bit more effeminate, your boys especially, and normalize this dress-wearing weirdo. Elmo, let's I think this is one of the most positive reviews I've seen of the halftime show. You ready? It says, that bunny was amazing. Elmo thinks he should be called Good Bunny. Elmo loves you, Mr. Good Bunny. This is the halftime show where they're waving other countries' flags, not speaking in English, and there's men humping each other. Liz Wheeler replied to Elmo. Maybe you know Liz Wheeler, maybe not, but she said, these are the lyrics that were sung during Bad Bunny's halftime show. As a Muppet that speaks to small children, you think this is amazing, Elmo? You ready for the lyrics? Should I do it? And granted, they were in Spanish, but here's the English translation. Real G, guiding the new generations with the OG one, galactic style lust. Yes, so that your panties get horny and versatile. More slutty than Betty Boop. The one who got horny, mommy, was you. I stay killing with the U. P with the D, D with the A, push it in. It says the whole words. P with the D, D with the A, yes, push it in. P with D, D with A, push it in. Your T's, rubbing my nipples, push it in. This year, I don't want sluts, push it in. They see you with lots of jewelry and want to stay, push it in. They see you really active and they want to stay, push it in. He's a poetic genius. It's obvious. It's clearly poetry on so many levels. Elmo gets it. You don't because you're a stupid bigot, obviously. Obviously, this is stunning and brave. Elmo is promoting it. Elmo. They're after your kids, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Even the leftists know it. They just think it's a good thing. This wasn't the only sports story happening over the weekend, mind you, though. The Olympics kicked off, and the Olympics, I don't know, at least my feed was filled with all sorts of people representing the USA who were downright ashamed to be doing it, and it was infuriating. How are you going to go represent America on the world stage and then crap on America? You have this unbelievable opportunity to play a game, and I'm not discounting the training and the work that gets put in, but it's not a real job. You're not digging ditches. You're playing a game. Okay, it's tough. I'll give you that, but you're playing a game. You go on the world stage. You're supposed to be representing America, and then we get so many Olympians using that opportunity and that platform that's afforded to them to rip the country that they come from. This would never fly in any other country but America. You had Hunter Hess, you had Chris Lillis, you had Olympic skier Gus Kenworthy, you also had U.S. figure skater Amber Glenn. All of them making anti-American statements. Anybody watch this? Anybody watch the Olympics? I watched some of it. I'll be honest with you, but I don't know if I'm going to watch it anymore moving forward. And I think it's because of this kind of garbage. This was Hunter Hess and Chris Lillis. They're Team USA freestyle skiers, and they are heartbroken repping the United States of America.
I feel heartbroken about what's happened in the United States when, I'm pretty sure you're referencing ICE and some of the protests and things like that.
Are you heartbroken when Rachel Marin is killed by an illegal alien and her 5 kids are left without a mom? Are you heartbroken when Jocelyn Nunguri's parents have to bury their daughter after she was horrifically raped and brutally beaten and left in a ditch? Are you heartbroken that Laken Riley can't go for a jog? Are you heartbroken when you see so many illegal aliens killing people via DUI? Is that also heartbreaking? Are you heartbroken when Tren de Aragua takes over apartment complexes and extorts the same illegal aliens you claim to care so much about? Are you also heartbroken? Were you heartbroken when the Biden administration lost 300,000 kids and enabled the largest child sex trafficking operation that we have ever seen in this country? Are you also heartbroken? No? You're just heartbroken when we want to get these monsters out of our country? Got it. That's Chris Lillis, Team USA freestyle skier.
I think that as a country, we need to focus on respecting everybody's rights and making sure that we're treating our citizens as well as anybody with love and respect. And I hope that when people look at athletes compete in the Olympics, they realize that that's the America that we're trying to represent.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think.
This is Hunter Hess, Team USA freestyle skier. The mixed emotions. They're mixed.
It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. Virtue signaling level on about 1,000. And nobody cares. Listen, dude, miss me with the BS. Okay? These kids, freestyle skiers, let's be perfectly honest. They grew up in an absolute ivory tower. You don't become an Olympic freestyle skier growing up in an impoverished community. These kids have grown up in an ivory tower, and now they feel like it's their job. It's their job to be the moral compass of America. Oh, stunning. Stunning and brave. Shut up and play in the snow, loser. Just shut up and play in the snow. Like, I'm so sick and tired of these athletes. You have one moment to do something meaningful with your just abysmal life, and you choose to trash the men and women who are trying to make our community safer. You choose to crap on the country that gave you the opportunity to go play in the snow. So just shut up and play in the snow. Shut up and play in the snow. Thank you. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That was Hunter Hess and Chris Lillis, freestyle skiers. There was a British American Olympic athlete. I don't know which team he was representing. I think he might have been representing Britain. He posted on Instagram. His name's Gus Kenworthy. He peed in the ice at the top of the mountain, and he peed F ice into the snow. He then told his followers to speak up against ice, and then gave him a script to call their local senator. Yeah, he's competing for Team Britain. Good. Bold and brave. Many people saying online, bold and brave. Hunter Hess, he was saying that just because he's wearing the flag, he doesn't represent America. He doesn't, he's not representing everything America does. Donald Trump weighed in on this. Did you see that on True Social? U.S. Olympic skier Hunter Hess, a real loser, says he doesn't represent his country in the current Winter Olympics. If that's the case, he shouldn't have tried out for the team, and it's too bad he's on it. Very hard to root for someone like this. Make America great again. Amen. It is. It is hard to root for people like this, and it's hard to even just it almost ruins the rest of the Olympics. Like there are good Olympians, and we'll get to them. I don't want to just highlight the negative. There are good Olympians out there that are busting their ass and not doing the wrong thing. But then it seems like the ones that get the most play are people like this. This is U.S. figure skater Amber Glenn. You know what she had to say? She said, "Guys, I don't know who needs to hear this, but the queers are having a real hard time in Trump's America."
Yeah, it's been a hard time for the community overall under this administration. It isn't the first time that we've had to come together as a community and try and fight for our human rights. And now, especially, it's not just affecting the queer community, but many other communities. And I think that we are able to support each other in a way that we didn't have to before. And because of that, it's made us a lot stronger. I hope I can use my platform and my voice throughout these games to try and encourage people to stay strong in these hard times.
So it's hard times if you're queer. I mean, they are literally fighting for their rights. So I would just have to ask the question, and it begs the question, what rights have they lost? What rights have you lost? If you are lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, what rights have you lost in Donald Trump's America? I mean, she says that they're out there fighting for him. Maybe they're fighting so good they haven't lost him yet. But what rights? What rights have you lost? Again, this is U.S. figure skater Amber Glenn.
Yeah, it's been a hard time for the community overall under this administration. It isn't the first time that we've had to come together as a community and try and fight for our human rights.
List them. What human rights are you having an issue with right now? But by all means, I am all ears. If there's any members of the Rainbow Mafia out there that agree with Amber Glenn, tell me what rights. Tell me what rights. Now, maybe she's saying, transgender surgeries for minors. That's the only thing that's changed. I wonder how Amber Glenn would feel if a male figure skater came and did better than her in the competitions and the tryouts. We're fighting for our rights. Like, seriously? We're coming together. It's stunning and brave. That wasn't the only one. Michaela Schifrin, alpine skier. Alpine skier. She's not there to represent America. She's at the Olympics to represent inclusivity and diversity.
I think there's a lot of hardship in the world, globally. And there's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of violence.
Oh.
It can be tough to reconcile that when you're also competing for medals in an Olympic event. I actually have some thoughts. I can read something that I had written, if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead.
So
did she write it, or did a PR person write it? Is this an original thought, or did somebody write this for you?
Night at the opening ceremonies, Charlize Theron, she had quoted Nelson Mandela. And I don't have the quote off the top of my mind because I'm not brilliant. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. Peace is the creation of an environment where we can all flourish, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, gender, class, caste, or any other social markers of difference. And for me, as this relates to the Olympics, I'm really hoping to show up and represent my own values of inclusivity, values of diversity and kindness. And
you're here for inclusivity and diversity? So why don't you give up your spot? Why don't you know what I mean? In the name of inclusivity and diversity, for the figure skaters on Team America, how about you give your spot up to a strong black woman? Put your money where your mouth is. Give somebody else the opportunity, will you? Figure skating's too white. Everybody knows it. It's just nobody's brave enough to say it. And maybe our friend Amber here, maybe. Excuse me, Michaela Schifrin. She's an alpine skier. Maybe she should give up her spot and put her money where her mouth is. I will say this. It was not all bad at the Olympics. Lindsey Vonn is being praised nationwide for actually being proud to represent her country, and she should be. We should celebrate more of these people rather than giving name recognition to the others. And I fall into the latter category, and I forgive me for giving name recognition, but it's infuriating when you watch this. Team USA Olympic ski racer Lindsey Vonn is saying it's a privilege to represent her country.
It's a privilege to represent your country, and the Olympics are the largest stage in the world, the largest sporting event in the world. To walk out into the opening ceremonies with your fellow teammates is such an honor, and I always feel incredibly lucky that I'm even able to compete at that level. So I definitely don't take it for granted, and I'm going to enjoy my last Olympics as much as I possibly can.
No, she didn't even go like overboard either. You know what I mean? She wasn't like overboard, pro USA, rah rah rah, make the Olympics great again. But like that's the whole point. You don't have to go overboard either way. You could just say like a nice little statement. Say I'm excited to be here, which they all are, even if they don't want to admit it. Even when they say it's tough representing an evil nation like the Fourth Reich America. It's so hard. You just don't say anything. Just say you're grateful for the opportunity. And you're going to work your ass off, and you're going to try and win a medal. Like that's it. The bar is so low here, but so many just want to go full woke and virtue signal. It's infuriating. Shout out to Team USA's Lindsey Vonn. Lindsey Vonn is just a boss. Did you hear her story? She tore her ACL, and then she was going to ski anyway. She skied anyway, and then there was a brutal crash over the weekend. She had to be, this is with a torn ACL, and then she had to be airlifted out of there. Just an absolute beast of a woman.
She made a risk, a calculated risk, with that leg brace on with the ACL, and then it just has gone horribly wrong. At the fourth gate, the first jump, as we were seeing the pictures, she has gone airborne, hit the gate, lost her balance completely, and it's been a horrendous crash, which has resulted now in this broken left leg. But just to confirm once again, that left leg has been undergone surgery at the hospital in Cortina, and she's now stable in the hands of both American and Italian physicians.
We could use about 100 more Lindsey Vonns on the Team USA Olympics. That's what we could use. And about a few hundred less woke athletes who are just claiming that America is an evil nation. It's 10:24. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Mason Fleming is out today. We got RJ producing. He's doing a bang-up job. And we got Joan Jones in the newsroom. J.D. Vance actually just wheels down in Armenia a little while ago. This is the first visit ever by an American vice president to the nation of Armenia. And, hey, man, it's cool. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that was the first time the VP has ever visited. More cool than that are the statements that J.D. Vance is making on the ground. It kind of, shoehorns into what we've been talking about today about the Christian worldview of the nation and how we need to get back to that, essentially kind of like the overall arcing theme. But J.D. Vance on the ground in Armenia.
Let me say first that the president sends his best to you personally, but also to the people of Armenia. The prime minister has been a great friend of ours and a real ally in peace and development in this region of the world. So we're very grateful for the friendship and for the partnership. I know there's a lot to discuss, a lot we're going to be announcing, I believe, at the next press event that we do. So I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Let me just say this is a beautiful country. I feel incredibly grateful to be here. I'm thankful for the personal welcome, not just to me personally, but also to my family. This is, of course, one of the oldest Christian cultures in the entire world, and so I feel a great amount of affinity to the people of Armenia.
I mean, making a point to acknowledge the Christian culture of Armenia, that's a culture shift. That's a change. Not hiding your Christian values. That's clutch. He did it not once, but twice.
This is one of the oldest Christian countries in the entire world, a true bedrock of Christian civilization and culture. As a devout Christian myself, I know the meaning of this country to the entire world and to the religion that the Prime Minister and I share.
I mean, that's a huge statement from a vice president. Make no mistake about it. Just even acknowledging your Christian faith on that main stage is amazing. Not hiding it behind closed doors. We need more of that in this country. 1030 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley want to get you back to a pain-free life, and if you're dealing with any kind of pain, they can help you. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, herniated or bulging disc, knee pain, numbness in your arms or legs, you need to call the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You see, this is the first and only office in Tennessee with an absolutely groundbreaking machine called the Hydro Wave. This device is going to stimulate stem cells for real cellular healing. No surgery, no needles, no opioids. You pair the Hydro Wave with the non-surgical spinal and knee decompression. I'm telling you, it doesn't get more advanced than this. These guys are all about doing things in an advanced way, using anti-gravity machines, robot lasers, and they also kick it a little old school. They'll actually take the time to review your MRI and explain it and then tell you how to fix it. I know it's a revolutionary concept, but they do it every day at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Start a pain-free life in 2026. Start it with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. It starts with a phone call, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com. (1037) Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We've been talking about the Super Bowl. We talked about the Olympics. I posted a meme late last night on the Super Bowl halftime show. It's overweight Jerry Curl JD Vance putting a flaming bag of dog poop on Bad Bunny's doorstep. Somebody was very upset at me. Said, "You claim to be a Christian." I didn't know Christians weren't allowed to joke. You could see that on my TikTok and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button while you're there. I will follow back. On the Olympics, our friend Josh texted in. And he said it's Daytona 500 week anyway, so F the Olympics. Okay, nailed it. We're gonna move off the Olympics. Donald Trump gave an interview with NBC yesterday, and as one might expect, the SAVE Act was a topic of conversation, and Donald Trump said, we need that to pass.
Well, we're working on the Save America Act, which is going to secure up a lot of things, but secure up our voting. I think people would like to do it, and I think Democrats would too. When you go to voter ID and you ask Democrats, it's polling at 82% with Democrats. I'm not talking about Democrat politicians. I'm talking about Democrats. We have to do something about our voting. We need strong borders. We need a fair press, which we don't have. And very importantly, we need the strong border, the fair press, and we need fair elections. We need elections where people aren't able to cheat. And we're going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get it done. And by the way, it polls, even with Democrats, they want that.
We should note voter ID rules do have wide public support, but the vast majority of Democrats on Capitol Hill oppose them.
Yeah, why do they oppose them? It's interesting. We have questions. 71% of Democrat voters are for them. And you know where you have to show your ID? The state of Virginia. And they just had a moderate Democrat win governor. So why do the Democrats oppose the SAVE Act? I think it's because in some of these states, they absolutely are cheating. And they know that they're cheating. And they don't want to lose that valuable commodity of extra votes. Who can blame them? Donald Trump posting on Truth Social, America's elections are rigged, stolen, and a laughingstock all over the world. We are either going to fix them or we won't have a country any longer. I'm asking all Republicans to fight for the following: Save America Act. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of United States citizenship to register for voting. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. This should be just like the lowest of low bars. You have to prove who you are. You have to prove you're a citizen here to register. And unless you absolutely 100% can't make it to a polling place, illness, disability, military, travel, then you're not going to get a mail-in ballot. You're just not. And we've seen the ballot harvesting. I mean, it was during 2020. There was like the drop boxes, the Zuckerbucks drop boxes, and there was a report. I think it was CBS, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong on the network, but they were talking about the mail-in ballot drop boxes, and this woman pulls up with like 100 mail-in ballots and just drops them all in. Vote harvesting's a thing. And listen, if you can canvass an apartment building and you're knocking on doors and they haven't filled out their ballots yet, people in the House haven't filled out ballots yet, it's easy to cheat. Way too easy to cheat. Rep. Anna Paulina Luna has said if the Senate doesn't pass the SAVE Act, then they have failed the American people. She is 100% right. And it's not everybody in the Senate. I think it's important to point out our senators, Blackburn, Haggerty, 100% support the SAVE Act, as they should. The real issue with Senate Republicans not backing up the SAVE Act is it comes down to the rhinos. It comes down to the John Thunes. It comes down to the Senator Langfords. It comes down to those losers. John Thune doesn't want to support the president, clearly. When Donald Trump was running, he was asked, will he support Donald Trump if he becomes the nominee? His answer was, I'm hoping that we get other options. Well, we don't now, John, and you need to support the president. The overwhelming amount of people support this. 95% of 95% of Republicans. Like, it's an 80-20 issue among all Americans. 70% of Democrats. 76% of black voters. I mean, we can go down the line. Every major category you look at, it is in the positive for support. Rep. Anna Paulina Luna has essentially thrown down the gauntlet to the Senate. If you don't do it, well, then you failed the American people.
President Trump is drawing attention to his SAVE Act when asked about his plans to unify the country during his Super Bowl interview yesterday.
Well, we're working on the Save America Act, which is going to secure up a lot of things, but secure up our voting. I think people would like to do it, and I think Democrats would too. And you ask Democrats, it's polling at 82% with Democrats.
Meanwhile, Democrat Senator Adam Schiff is being confronted on this polling showing an overwhelming 83% of Americans supporting requiring a photo ID to vote.
Did you see Adam Schiff? He was on ABC this week with Jonathan Karl. So just by the numbers, 95% of Republicans, 71% of Democrats, 83% of U.S. adults all support this. This is according to Pew Research Center. They all support needing to prove your citizenship to register and having an ID to vote. It's not a controversial topic. But to the smooth brains in the Senate, they either think we don't have time. That's the excuse that we're getting from John Thune, or it's sexist, or it's racist, or it's Jim Crow 2.0. Adam Schiff was asked by Jonathan Karl about the SAVE Act, and he said, "Are you in favor? Are you in favor of voter ID?" And of course, Adam Schiff says no. And then Jonathan Karl did something that I was shocked. I was shocked by, I'll be honest with you. Jonathan Karl confronted Adam Schiff with the polling numbers. He said, well, you can call it voter suppression, but 71% of Democrat voters agree with this.
What about the idea of voter ID, of photo ID being required to vote? Are you in favor of that? Can there be a compromise where Democrats and Republicans put forward photo ID as a requirement for voting?
So, Jonathan, what you've just asked is essentially Republicans have created distrust in the elections by making claims of non-existent fraud in the elections. And shouldn't we use the distrust they've created in order to enact a voter suppression law, which is the SAVE Act?
It's a voter suppression law, guys. Always has been. Oh, and Republicans are the only one creating distrust. Never mind the fact that Stacey Abrams ran around for years. I think she's still calling herself the rightful governor of Georgia. No. Don't worry about that. Also, when they say Republicans created the distrust, what about when they put they put poster board over the windows in Detroit? Did that not create a little bit of distrust? What about when they shut down the Fulton County, Georgia office in 2020 because of a water main break? And then after they got everybody out, they kept counting ballots. Does that not create any distrust? It's the Republicans that created distrust? Because from my vantage point, it's the Democrats that created that distrust. Full stop. Adam Schiff disagrees.
Which would require people to have a birth certificate or a passport, documents that millions of Americans don't have. Almost half the country doesn't have a passport, and I don't know where many millions of people would even find a birth certificate. So,
the humanity. Many Americans are too dumb to be able to find a birth certificate or go get a copy. And many Americans don't have a passport. Can I level with you for a second? If you're too dumb to be able to go get a copy of your birth certificate, if you are too dumb to be able to get a passport, I don't know if we want you voting anyway. I'm just being honest. We were doing the podcast over the weekend. We do mostly peaceful. Dan, Matt, and Chris. Matt Murphy joins us now on the podcast, and Murphy was talking about his days back in Birmingham, reminiscing, and he said, he had a bit on his Birmingham show back in the day where he would say, "I'll give you $1,000 if you can show me someone who has had their vote suppressed by needing an ID to go vote. $1,000, just bring receipts." Do you know what Matt Murphy never had to do? Dish out $1,000, because it's like basically impossible to find somebody that's actually been suppressed. Their vote was suppressed by not having an ID. We played a video last week that had gone viral again. It was 2012. Barack Obama went to go vote for himself in the presidential election. He was asked for an ID. Oh, the humanity. He started screaming, "You stupid bigots, you racists, how dare you? Don't you know how hard it is for me, a black man, to get an ID?" And then, no, he actually didn't do any of that. He just gave him his ID, and then he went and voted because it wasn't a big deal. It's not a big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal. It's only a big deal now because Orange Man bad. But in this clip, in this interview with Adam Schiff, he says, Jonathan Karl goes, "Okay, I hear you. It's voter suppression." Then he does something I didn't expect him to do. Why is it that Democrats overwhelmingly support voter ID?
But I asked you
phony fraud claims.
But I was asking you a different question. Photo ID. Because as you know, let's show up, there was a recent poll, there's been a lot of polls on this, but in one recent Pew poll, 83% of adults support requiring photo ID to vote. 71% of Democrats favor requiring photo ID. Is that something that you can support? And if not, why not?
It's still going to be something, Jonathan. It's still going to be something that disenfranchises people that don't have the proper real ID, driver's license ID, that don't have the ID necessary to vote, even though they are citizens. This is another way to simply try to suppress the vote.
It's another way. Even though 71% of our voters would be in favor of this, 71% of our voters have no idea what they're doing. Although, admittedly, I would think that would be a bit low. 71% of Democrat voters don't know what they're doing or talking about, but I digress. 71% of their own voters support it. Adam Schiff gets on TV and says, this is voter suppression. Okay. You keeping score at home? Hakeem Jeffries was also out there doing the weekend shows. He went on CNN. Dana Bash's show, was it State of the Union or something like that? State of the Nation. I don't know what the name of it. State of the Union. And he was asked about voter ID. He was asked by Dana Bash about 71% of Democrats supporting requiring an ID to vote. And he was asked point blank, why are they wrong?
But requiring basic ID in order to vote is really popular. A Pew poll from a few months ago showed 83% of Americans, including 71% of your fellow Democrats, support requiring an ID to vote. Why are they wrong?
I haven't said that they're wrong. We know that states are the ones who are empowered to conduct elections, and every state should be allowed to decide the best way to proceed to ensure that there's a free and fair election. Here in New York, there are, in fact, voter identification requirements. The question is that what Republicans are trying to do is to engage in clear and blatant voter suppression. They know that if there's a free and fair election in November, they're going to lose.
Wait, what? 71% of your voters support requiring an ID to vote. They're not wrong, according to Hakeem Jeffries, but also the Republicans are evil and they're suppressing the vote.
In fact, Republicans have been losing every single election since Donald Trump was sworn in January of last year.
Sans Matt Van Epps, but,
including most recently decisively in Texas, and of course, losing all across the country, up and down the ballot in the November off-year elections in places like New Jersey or Virginia or New York.
Yeah, and they've been losing. I mean, Virginia is a good example. They have a requirement to show your ID, and Democrats won very, very handily across the way. So why not maybe even just take that off the table and say, okay, maybe not a passport or birth certificate, but show ID?
Well, first of all, every state is empowered to be able to make the decision on their own, and we completely and totally support that. What Donald Trump wants to do is try to nationalize the election. Translation, steal it.
Got it. This is different. This is different, you guys. This is Donald Trump trying to steal the election. You're paying attention, right? I will say not all Democrats are as insane as Adam Schiff or Hakeem Jeffries. Well, most of them are. But we found one that is not, and you probably can guess who it would be, Senator John Fetterman. It's hard to find another one who has their head screwed on straight in the Democrat Party, but Senator Fetterman, he supports it.
Me, as a Democrat, I do not believe that it's unreasonable or to show ID just to vote.
I don't believe it's unreasonable to show ID to vote. Nobody thinks it's unreasonable. 71% of Democrats don't think it's unreasonable. But you'll be hard pressed to find a clip of a Democrat right now supporting that, other than John Fetterman. You have to do some digs. You have to do some digs. Not too far back into the past, but it was 2021. You know who supported ID to vote? Kamala Harris.
Is agreeing to voter ID one of those compromises that you'd support? I don't think that we should underestimate what that could mean. Because in some people's mind, that means, well, you're going to have to Xerox or photocopy your ID to send it in to prove who you are. Well, there are a whole lot of people, especially people who live in rural communities, who don't. There's no Kinko's, there's no Office Max near them. People have to understand that when we're talking about voter ID laws, be clear about who you have in mind and what would be required of them to prove who they are. Of course, people have to prove who they are.
That's the main point. Of course, people should have to prove who they are. Of course, people should have to prove who they are. Now, the statement on the Kinkos and the ridiculousness of the rural areas, classic Kamala Harris. But in her answer, in the word salad, a little bit of truth sneaks out. Of course, people should have to prove who they are. It's 10:53. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
An alleged assault of a lineman working to restore power in Middle Tennessee. And wait till you hear who's been arrested for that. Also an arrest of a man for allegedly soliciting a teen at a Nashville shopping mall. All of that coming up at 11 a.m. on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. What's up, Jay? How are you, man?
Hey there, Chris, man. Yeah, I guess Ken had too much Super Bowl. Yeah, no, seriously, he's a little under the weather this morning, so here I am.
I feel like Ken's faking it. Anybody else feel like Ken's faking it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he has just, he couldn't get the guacamole dip out of that big, long beard thing of his.
Is that what happened? It's just, it's green and crusty this morning.
Yeah, I didn't want to be on the Super Talk TV.
Well, feel better, Ken Weaver. Jay Harper is going to hold it down with the headlines on the way in less than a minute. On the way, we got a lot to talk about. Minnesota, there were some protests over the weekend that were pretty insane. And our guys, Bo Diddle and Gabe Victel, were down there getting some really, really good footage, which you definitely need to check out if you haven't seen yet. We had a bit of a conversation over the weekend, and it's like these guys they're young guys, and they're really, really good at what they do. But they were pumped because they put themselves in harm's way. They deal with the pepper spray. They deal with the threats of violence. They deal with almost getting the heads knocked off their shoulders to go out there and get this footage. But I was texting with them over the weekend, and Gabe's footage, Gabe and Bo's footage of the arrests that we saw at the protests in Minnesota made it to Fox News. And it was like a cool moment because they were just jazzed. And a lot of times you don't realize that there are actually people behind those cameras that put in a lot of work to get that kind of footage. So I was so happy for those guys that their work got featured on Fox over the weekend. We'll talk about what we saw over the weekend in Minnesota. Plus, we'll outline some of the fraud that is still going on and a few more immigration issues before we head into the lightning round. It's crazy, man. We got 1 hour left in the Chris Hand Show. Right now, we're stopping down for news with Jay Harper. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 1 minute past 11 a.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll get you a weather forecast here in just a few minutes. President Trump raising doubts about the integrity of the upcoming midterm elections. He's also touting the economy. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has more.
In a new interview, President Trump saying he accepts ownership of the current state of the U.S. economy. Recent polls show that a majority of Americans aren't happy with the president's handling of the economy, with just 36% saying they approve of the job he's done. But Trump insisting his economic policies are working. Trump also once again urging the passage of the SAVE Act, which would require proof of citizenship to register to vote.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, a lineman was arrested after allegedly assaulting and seriously injuring his coworker during power restoration efforts in Madison. That's according to some arrest papers that were newly obtained by Channel 4 here in town. The assault allegedly happened back on January 30th after this winter storm we've all been dealing with. It was reported to police on February 6th. The victim is also a lineman. Told police he was working with 36-year-old Harley DeLine outside a home in Madison when an argument just got going. The victim told police DeLine was trying to turn on a transformer before it was safe to do so. Police noted the victim had very visible injury. A doctor told him he had a torn pectoral muscle, a torn shoulder that would need surgery. The injured lineman told police he thought the ambush was premeditated. DeLine was charged with aggravated assault, and per court records, his bond was set at $10,000. Also here in the Nashville area, police say a man harassed and solicited sex from a 15-year-old boy while he was using the men's room at a Nashville mall. It happened allegedly last week at Opry Mills. An affidavit dated February 6 says a 25-year-old man approached the teen entering the urinal next to his. The juvenile victim told police the defendant reached over and touched him while he was, doing his business. Officers found the 25-year-old in the men's room and detained him. The man denied that he did anything. According to court records, He was arrested and charged with solicitation of a minor by displaying sex acts, and his bond was set at $2,500. He'll be in court on March 20th. That's the latest news. We've got weather on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. We got a big event coming up on the 24th of February. Steak of the Union at Legend Steakhouse in Smyrna. You know who I'm inviting? I'm going to invite Maxine Waters. I am. I know she's free.
Head to the State of the Union that's coming up later this month. I know in the past you have chosen not to attend Trump's speeches. Do you plan to be there this time?
Oh, no. I will never honor him with my presence.
I'm going to invite her to ours then. I'm going to invite her to our party. Do you think she'd come? Do you think if we like actually made an effort, we were willing to pay her, she'd probably show up? I bet you if money was involved, she would show up. She's not going to be there. Don't worry. We wouldn't want you to ruin your appetite. It's going to be an awesome night at Legend Steakhouse in Smyrna. It's a very limited room. Okay, we only have 100 tickets available, and I think that's what we started with. We're down lower now, and it's $100 each. Now, before you go, whoa. Each ticket includes a 9-ounce sirloin, 2 sides, salad bar, strawberry cake, non-alcoholic beverage of your choice, and tax and gratuity, all that for $100. It's going to be a fun night. Murphy's going to be out there doing his whole show live. And then myself, Mandis, Benson will be joining him. We'll be watching the entire State of the Union address from the president with you guys. Very, very intimate location, small room, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets are available at 997WTN.com. I promise you, Maxine Waters won't be there. We got to talk about fraud. We got to talk about Minnesota. We got to talk about what happened over the weekend. New polling just dropped that shows Donald Trump's mass deportation overwhelmingly supported by the American people to the tune of plus 19 points. People are here for the mass deportations. Interesting development over the weekend in Minnesota. Remember the roadblocks that we saw where these lunatic leftists, these paid agitators, these protesters were making makeshift roadblocks in the street to stop out-of-state vehicles with out-of-state plates so that they could run the plates in their signal chats to see if they were ICE agents or not. Minnesota police, Minneapolis police, they ripped those blockades down over the weekend, which is just an awesome development on a couple levels. For starters, number one, the blockades have been ripped down. Thank you. Thank you. Nobody needs to be slowing down or impeding or obstructing our ICE officials doing the business that the American people need them to do. Full stop. But the other amazing part of this is that it wasn't the feds that ripped these blockades down. It was local authorities, meaning that maybe that cooperation is getting that improvement that Donald Trump said was on the way. Huge fan of this. We've also seen, this is funny. Not all heroes wear capes. File this one under not all heroes wear capes. We do know that these are paid protesters. We do know that these are paid agitators, and you can see it by the supplies, right? There's all these supply tables at these protest sites where you can go on down, get yourself some hand warmers, get yourself some snacks. One guy took it upon himself to start showing up at these supply runs and just taking stuff for the love of the game. Not because he's opposed to ICE, but because he wants one less leftist to have a pair of hand warmers.
How's it going?
Anything? I got hot chocolate hand warmers, hot coffee, tea.
Now, this table is full of supplies. Boxes upon boxes of hand warmers. They got the hot coffee. They got the hot chocolate. They got all the snacks. And it's just set up there, paid for probably by George Soros. And this patriot is just, running down the line, taking stuff that should be for a lunatic leftist and bringing it home for him.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to warn you with those. The fruit snacks, keep them in your pocket for a little while. They're very hard.
You gotta have fruit snacks because these leftists are perpetual children.
Keep them in your pocket for a little while. They're very hard.
Oh, they need to warm up.
Yeah, a little bit. I got hand warmers though down here.
Ooh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah.
Actually, no, I think those are foot warmers. Those are hand warmers.
Okay, awesome.
Hey, he's just rifling through all the free supplies, taking it for the love of the game. I love it. We need more patriots to go down there and siphon off their supplies. But outside the what was it, the Whipple building, I believe it is, there was a mass arrest, and this was on Saturday. This was just a chaotic scene. I've retweeted it on my X account. I posted it on my Instagram as well, at Chris Hand on Air. It was outside the Federal Whipple building in Minnesota. And, well, listen to this. You hear an announcement come over the loudspeaker, and then there's a stampede of leftists.
You are under arrest. Be seated where you are and follow the directions of officers.
It said, you're under arrest. Be seated where you are and follow the directions of federal officers. And then it was like a scene out of The Lion King where Scar set up the stampede because the leftists just turn and they just start running. And the police come in and they start tackling people and throwing them in handcuffs. And you love to see it. And it was our own friends of the show, Bo Diddle and Gabe Victal, who got this unbelievable footage. And they were pumped, man. I mentioned it a little while ago. A lot of times you don't know who's behind the camera, But these are a couple friends of mine and, Gen Zers that go out there every weekend, get sent to all different locations to cover these protests and cover these agitators and get you the footage that the mainstream media won't. Whether it's late at night, whether it's in the belly of the beast, you name it, these guys are out there doing it. And their footage got featured on Fox News, and they were very excited about it, as they should be, because they put in a lot of work. So kudos to those guys. We're going to have them on the show later on this week. It was like, negative whatever it was in Minnesota over the weekend. Very cold. Bo got sick. So once he gets back up to 100%, they're going to come in here and let us know what it was like on the ground as those agitators and those paid protesters were being tackled and arrested, and what the scene generally has been like in Minnesota. I'm a huge fan of this. And You know, just a lot of good coming out of Minnesota over the weekend. So you had the guys siphoning the snacks. You got the mass arrest happening outside the Whipple building. This is another one that I thought was hilarious. A guy is going around Minnesota distracting ICE agents. I mean, not distracting ICE agents, excuse me. Distracting the protesters who want to distract the ICE agents. There's a little whistle code. Have you heard about the whistle code? You blow your whistle 3 times to let people know that ICE is here. So this guy's driving around Minneapolis, and he's just going to random spots and jumping out of his car and blowing a whistle. Ready?
ICE! ICE! Help! ICE is here!
Then when the mobs of leftists show up, he goes full 6th grade. Stone Cold Steve Austin and DX, flips him the bird, does a little crotch chops, and then gets back in his car and leaves. So good. So good. Anti-Rice rioters also are turning on each other inside Minnesota. We talked about the blockades that Minneapolis police tore down. Before they tore them down, they're arguing with their own. There was a guy that pulled up to one of these roadblocks, and he literally has anti-ICE signs all over his truck. It says Nuremberg 2.0. And these leftists start berating him. And he's like, guys, you don't understand. You don't understand. I'm on your side. I'm on your side. Do you know what the ICE agitators, the paid protesters, did? They started suction cupping dildos to his car as a form of protest. Mostly peaceful protest. I don't understand. I don't understand what crosses your mind where you think, you know what I'm going to need at this protest? It's a suction cupped dildo. That's what I need at this protest. They brought him. They were sticking him to this guy's car, and he's like, I'm on your effing side. That's what he kept yelling. What are you doing? Stop dildoing my vehicle. I'm on your side. This is not a WNBA game, he said. I'm on your side. These leftists, people on the internet are pointing out they have Somali-level IQs. Somali-level IQs. All the protests are there for distraction. And everybody knows that they're there for distraction. And the more that comes out about the fraud in Minnesota, the more eyes are being opened. Minnesota legislative auditor found Tim Walz's employees were fabricating records to cover up the fraud. And they have the receipts.
Definitely the most egregious thing I have seen. Maybe in my whole time working at OLA.
Office of the Legislative Auditor released a damning report finding state employees fabricating records to cover up mismanagement of money, tax money. It's another black eye for the State Department of Human Services.
27. I mean, how many black guys do you need? How many black guys do they need? They're fabricating the records, and they got busted, exposed, obliterated. We need these individuals in handcuffs, and everybody knows it. And nobody's going to be satisfied until that's the result. The fraud investigators are still on the ground, and as more receipts like this come to the surface, the worse it gets for the Tim Walz administration in Minnesota.
27 years with the Office of the Legislative Auditor, a statement like that from Judy Randall means something.
Yeah, underline 27 years with the state legislative auditor. 27 years of experience. This isn't somebody new. This isn't somebody, just got on the job. This is 27 years, almost 3 decades of experience.
After past suspicions, she says her most recent audit proved state workers were fabricating documents to cover up mismanagement of taxpayer money.
So these documents should exist. They didn't. We asked for them. All of a sudden, they now exist. And in at least one case, it was created wholesale and backdated by 2 years to give the impression that it had always been there and been done on time.
Created wholesale and backdated 2 years. It's called fraud. And the fraud is being exposed at levels we never thought humanly possible. And it's infuriating. It should piss you off. It should piss off everyone you know. These are our tax dollars that are being wasted in the state of Minnesota.
The OLA audited the Behavioral Health Administration within the Department of Human Services, which issues grants, nearly $200 million of taxpayer money each year to addiction and mental health service providers. But the audit found BHA was not making sure those providers were doing the work.
BHA didn't conduct the site visits, our auditors went and conducted the site visits that BHA should have done, and we identified serious concerns that services weren't being provided.
One of the grants examined by OLA was $1.6 million issued to the Wellness Collaborative through Zion Baptist Church in North Minneapolis. According to the OLA report, BHA didn't have documentation to give auditors to show that the services were rendered. What's more, the audit says the grant manager directly profited by leaving BHA and months later providing consulting services to the Wellness Collaborative for the grant she managed, which Randall says is not illegal.
No, definitely not a conflict of interest either, right? There's no conflict of. So I give you this grant, and then I leave my position, and then I work for you. Huh? That's a little weird. That's a little strange. The legislative auditor said they did 0 site visits to these locations. Where have we heard that before? I go back to the Quality Learning Center, where individuals started doing the site visits themselves, and what do they find? No kids, no footprints in the snow, no services being rendered. How many times have we heard the same old story here in the state of Minnesota?
But I think it raises a bunch of ethical questions at the very least.
Representatives at Zion strongly dispute what BHA and DHS told the auditors. They tell KARE 11 DHS sought them out for the grant. They provided services which DHS workers witnessed. They gave DHS documentation, and they say now they believe they're being scapegoated. The former grant manager told KARE 11 any wrongdoing falls squarely on DHS.
Conduct a monitoring visit to make sure the services are actually being provided. These aren't rocket science types of things.
Perhaps most frustrating, this was the second audit of the Behavioral Health Administration, and many of the problems found were repeat problems.
What is it like to see these problems, make these recommendations, and nothing is done to fix it?
It's exhausting.
You know, it's funny. They say problems, but I say crimes. And we need to see some people walked out in handcuffs. 100%. On the way, I want to tell you about what's going on in Florida. Non-English speakers are now being forced to take their driver's license tests in English after the state has switched to English only. The media is trying to make it seem like there's an uproar in the Hispanic community, and they went out into the community, and they tried to find those enraged citizens. They had a hard time locating them. I'll bring you that story when we get back. It's 11:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS. A couple weeks ago, we had some severe weather, the ice storm. It was wild. Brought a lot of ice, brought a lot of water, heavy moisture across Tennessee. And when that soil becomes oversaturated or goes through that freeze-thaw cycle, foundations take a hit. This is why so many homeowners trust United Structural Systems. Since 1994, USS has helped thousands of Tennessee families repair and protect their foundations after storms. Their focus is on doing the job right the first time so that you can feel confident in your home again. But USS is more than a foundation company. They're people who show up. This March, USS is going to take part in their 10th Habitat for Humanity build in Ashland City. They got 25 volunteers ready to go to frame and install roof trusses for a family in need. This tells you everything you need to know about my friends at United Structural Systems. If you've noticed cracks, moisture, or shifting after severe weather, don't wait. Call USS today. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems. Online always. USSTN.com.
Body cam footage has been released from the December Brown University shooting. We'll have that story. And an arrest of a Nashville man in a case that brought out a hazmat team to a convenience store this past Friday. That's all coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV is running on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. Help us grow that digital footprint of the radio station. We are going to be upgrading the technology for the YouTube stream here in a couple days, and we'll be back up to full strength. But we're up on YouTube and Rumble in the meantime, and we appreciate you guys joining us, however you're joining us. If you're on a digital platform, there's always a share button. Hit that. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Free to do, and we appreciate you helping us out. So there's a new non-controversy. That's what people on the internet say. It's non-controversy. It's a controversy that's not really a controversy at all. Non-English Florida speakers are now being forced to take their driver's license test in English, and people are very upset. NBC6, local affiliate there in Florida, wanted you to meet Daniela.
NBC6 met Daniela crying in the hallway outside a Miami tax collector's office. She was excited to pick up her driver's license, but that excitement turned to sorrow.
Hice un curso, hice todo el examen y vengo y ahora me toca repetirlo. Y ya me toca en inglés, no hablo inglés.
Daniela showed us proof she passed her knowledge exam in Spanish, but as Florida law states, for those who use an authorized third-party test administrator, she was randomly selected to take the test again. The test will only be in English. Therefore, Daniela hit a major roadblock.
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with the test being in English? What's wrong with wanting the licenses that we're handing out to go to people that can read the road signs and the street signs and converse in the language of the nation that they're in? What's the issue there? Again, they're going to try and make this into a controversy, and they're going to try and make this into an optics battle, and they're doing their best. Daniela's on TV. She's crying. She's very upset.
Daniela is one of many that will not be able to take their driver's license exams in any other language other than English, and they will not have the option of an interpreter or translator.
I mean, are they everywhere they're going to drive? Are they going to have an interpreter or a translator with them? What's the issue here?
Some residents told NBC6 they are against this new policy, but some state officials like Governor Ron DeSantis believe this change will make roadways safer by ensuring drivers can read English language road signs.
I love how he goes, some viewers told us that they don't support this policy, but they don't have any of those viewers. Isn't that weird? Now, there was another news report where they go out and they try to talk to those people, and they try to find people that don't support this new rule that you got to take your test in English. And you know what happened? This is on another channel there. They went to find a bunch of Hispanics because obviously the Hispanics would be up in arms about this, and they actually couldn't find many people that disagreed with the new rule.
In the past, people had a list of language choices. Not anymore.
No more Spanish, no more Russian, no more Creole, no more Arabic, no more any other language, just English.
I think that's awesome, and it only makes sense, even though I'm Hispanic.
Many telling Seven this is a turn in the right direction.
All the signs and everything is in English, so people had to know.
Pienso que es bastante razonable. I think it's reasonable because we're in a country that the main language is English.
Wait, what? I didn't know. I had no idea that these Hispanics were such Nazis and bigots. I didn't know. I had heard rumors about Argentina and the Nazis, but I didn't know that it was all Hispanics. This is troubling news. It's troubling news to me. I'm sure you're troubled as well.
The fact of the matter is, if you can't read the sign, you know, as far as the speed limit, where you can turn, you know, et cetera, you shouldn't be driving on the highway anyways.
Yeah, he sounds very much like a Nazi, this Hispanic man, Jose Alvarez. How dare you, sir? How dare you? 11:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Yes, it is 11:30, and I'm Jay Harper in for Ken Weaver. I've got your top stories. We will get you a weather forecast here in just a few. Body-worn camera from the chaotic scene during the December 13th mass shooting at Brown University has now been released. AB's Sherry Preston reports.
This is Brown Police. We have confirmed gunshots at 184 Hope Street.
The heavily redacted body cam videos show police clearing campus buildings and trying to help people take cover. The 20-minute video shows a police officer directing the other officers to clear the building.
Get these rescues in.
Closing off streets and telling people to get down. And it shows their frustration at not having many answers.
As of right now, we have no information as to who this person might be.
2 students were killed, several wounded. The gunman, a former Brown physics major, took his own life days later.
Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend pleaded the Fifth today in a brief appearance before the House Oversight Committee. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
The witness appeared remotely from her prison camp in Texas. She didn't offer any testimony.
Obviously, it's very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crime she and Epstein committed.
House Oversight Chairman James Comer says Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney told the panel she would have provided testimony if she'd been granted clemency by President Trump. Comer said it's his view she's not worthy. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Back here in the Nashville area, a man faces serious charges following a Nashville hazmat incident. It occurred in the southern part of the metro area, and it involved an explosive device. Specialized investigation detectives arrested 37-year-old Brandon Lamar Holt late Saturday night. Police said he used gasoline to make an explosive device and leave it in a dumpster at a MAPCO store on Nolensville Pike at about 7:30 Friday night. State and federal agencies responded to the scene and confirmed the object to be an improvised explosive device. According to police, a truck driver who was delivering fuel to the store witnessed Holt with the item and also had an interaction with him when Holt asked him what type of gasoline, quote, burns quicker. Holt then bought a buck's worth of gas and filled the compartment of the device. He also asked the truck driver and the clerk for some tape for the device. Holt is charged with possessing a prohibited improvised explosive weapon. He was booked into the Davidson County Jail on Sunday morning with a bond set at $150,000, but he is not eligible for release. That's the latest news. We've got weather next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's 11:37. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Just another reminder, State of the Union on the way. February 24th, State of the Union address from President Trump. We're going to be down there at Legend Steakhouse in Smyrna. Myself, Mandis, Murphy, Benson, the whole squad. And we want you down there. It's going to be very, very small. Listen, we do a lot of big events. Like, I think we had like 500 people for our debate parties and at Hop Springs, which was just bananas and awesome. This is scaled way down. It's way more intimate. There's only 100 tickets available. Tickets include a 9-ounce sirloin steak, 2 sides, salad bar, strawberry cake, non-alcoholic beverage of your choice, tax and gratuity, $100 to get in, gets you all the food as well. Join us. It's going to be a fantastic night. I've sent an official invite to Maxine Waters because she is not going to be attending the Donald Trump State of the Union. She said that she would never honor him with her presence, so I know she's free. So we'll see if she wants to come and join us.
To the State of the Union that's coming up later this month. I know in the past you have chosen not to attend Trump's speeches. Do you plan to be there this time?
Oh, no. I will never honor him with my presence.
So maybe she'll honor us with her presence. Maybe. Would that actually make you want to come more or make you want to come less? Tickets at 997WTN.com. We hope to see you out there again. February 24th, Legend Steakhouse in Smyrna. Grab your tickets now, 997WTN.com. In the meantime, we do it every day at this time. People really like it. We don't have Mason here today. We're going to judge RJ on how quickly he hits the lightning or does not hit the lightning. It's time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Again, every day this time we do the lightning round. We highlight all the stories that wouldn't necessarily fill a whole segment. Stories that we wanted to get to but kind of ran out of time. And stories that we think that deserve a little bit more attention and aren't getting. We like to call it the lightning round. All right, pretty good. First one's pretty good. The judging will intensify. I hope you understand this.
Bring it on.
Okay. All right. First story in the lightning round. This isn't a news story, but it really made me laugh. It really did. I saw this circulating online, and I was just tickled pink. It's an American Idol audition. I don't watch the show. And to be perfectly honest with you, when I was trying to explain to my wife who the judges were last night as I was laughing at this, I was having a hard time even knowing their names. It's Lionel Richie, okay, Luke Bryan, and Carrie Underwood. Those are the judges on this season of American Idol. I don't know if they've been doing it for a while. I don't know. But the judges aside, this woman shows up, and she has like a little wine glass. She says the ding, 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 ding. She's like, I have an announcement to make. I have an announcement. My niece is trying out. And everybody's like, okay, cool. Well, it turns out that the woman was on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. You know, the Real Housewives that nobody watches. I think people watch Salt Lake City less than they watch Atlanta. If we were going to do a power ranking of Real Housewives, nobody watches Salt Lake City. So this woman, Brittany Bateman, is on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She brings her niece for an American Idol audition, and then she kind of looks at the judges at American Idol and does like the you don't know who I am? Not a news story, but golly, did this make me laugh.
I have an announcement.
What is the announcement?
This is my beautiful niece, Carmelita. That's been her nickname since she was born.
Carmelita?
That is me. Do you know me? I'm Brittany. Brittany Bateman.
The cringe level. Oh my gosh. They had no idea who she was. They're just standing there. Poor Carrie Underwood just like kind of like nods, like, oh yeah. Oh, you're Brittany Bateman. Okay. Nobody this poor woman. Nobody knows who she is.
Do you know me? I'm Brittany. Brittany Bateman.
Then the niece has to chime in.
Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Yes. But this is not about me.
Did you hear that? Like poor Lionel Richie's trying to make her feel better. He's like,
Yes. This is Salt Lake City. Yes.
Oh, we are. All right, got another story here in the lightning round. A little bit later on that one. You're a little bit late on that one. The FCC has opened up an investigation against The View. Ooh, why is that, you might ask? Well, last Monday, The View had on Texas Democratic Senate candidate James Tallarico. He was on the show. And now the FCC is probing The View on equal time for political candidates, according to Fox News. This was his appearance.
I want to ask you about your record as a state legislator, because they have reviewed your legislative history, and you've missed over 800 votes during your time in the State House. Why did you miss the votes, and why should voters allow you to represent their interests statewide when some are saying you did not represent your district?
And this is a Republican talking point because
Correct.
I broke quorum twice with my Democratic colleagues to protest this redistricting power grab.
Twice? That made you miss 800 votes? That's a Republican talking point. Nobody's accusing James Tallarico of knocking his appearance on The View out of the park. But Fox News is reporting that ABC never made an equal time filing to the FCC in relation to Tallarico's appearance, which would implicitly indicate that to the FCC that Disney believes The View is bona fide news and would be exempt from the policy. Texas Rep. Jasmine Crockett had about 17 minutes on The View last month. Her appearance came before the FCC announced the policy enforcement. Tallarico had about 9 minutes on the show, but his appearance came only after the policy enforcement announcement. Fox reports that a source told them ABC would be required to provide equal time to Republican candidates as well as smaller Democrat candidates. And the source told Fox News, fake news is not getting a free pass anymore. Could you imagine if Wesley Hunt had 9 minutes on The View, or if Ken Paxton had 9 minutes on The View, the amount of kvetching we would get from the ladies? It would be awesome. And I hope that they do it. I hope that they're forced to do it, and I hope that the Republicans take them up on it. Equal time is a real thing. If you're going to give one candidate time, you got to give the other candidate time, or at least the opening to do so. And we've done that on this station. If I ever have a conservative on and the Democrat would like to come on, they are more than welcome to. In fact, I would love it. Anytime a Democrat candidate wants to come on, I would have them on in a heartbeat, because I think that that's fun. And I think that those conversations are great. And the one thing that you do with Democrats is you give them enough rope, and they do the job themselves, because they can never defend their positions. They're only involved in emotional propaganda. But I digress. The FCC is now looking into this. We'll keep you updated on that story as it develops. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. This one's sad, man. Three Doors Down singer, he passed away, Brad Arnold, over the weekend from cancer. Heartbreaking. Kidney cancer battle. He said there was a statement that was released. With his beloved wife, Jennifer, and his family by his side, Brad passed away peacefully, surrounded by loved ones in his sleep after his courageous battle with cancer. Three Doors Down said in a statement. Brad Arnold recently gave an interview on the Culture and Christianity podcast with my pastor, Alan Jackson, which is a fantastic conversation. And Brad was saved, and Brad had his checks and balances in with the Lord, and he was in a good place. And I think that he's up there in heaven looking down on us. But it was quick, man. It was quick the way these things happen. It was May of 2025 when he announced on social media that he had been diagnosed.
Hey everybody, it's Brad from Three Doors Down. I hope you're having a great day today. Got some not so good news for you today. And so I'd been sick a couple of weeks ago, and then went to the hospital and got checked out, and actually got the diagnosis that I had a clear cell renal carcinoma that had metastasized into my lungs, and that's it's stage 4, and that's not real good. But you know what? We serve a mighty God, and He can overcome anything. So I have no fear. I really sincerely am not scared of it at all. But it is gonna force us to cancel our tour this summer, and we're sorry for that. And I'd love for you to lift me up in prayer every chance you get. And I think it's time for me to maybe go listen to Not My Time a little bit, right?
I hope that you continue lifting up Brad's family in prayer. The statement from Three Doors Down said Brad's songwriting became a cultural touchstone for a generation, producing some of the most enduring hits of 2000s, including the band's breakout hit Kryptonite, which he wrote in his math class when he was just 15 years old. His music reverberated far beyond the stage, creating moments of connection, joy, faith, and shared experiences that will live on long after the stages he performed on. Above all, he was a devoted husband to Jennifer, and his kindness, humor, and generosity touched everyone fortunate enough to know him. Those closest with him, to him, will remember not only his talent, but his warmth, humility, faith, and deep love for his family and friends. Rest in peace, Brad Arnold from Three Doors Down. If you never saw that podcast on Culture and Christianity with Alan Jackson, I would suggest you go give it a watch. It's a fantastic interview, and we'll continue lifting up Brad's family in prayer and his bandmates in prayer as people deal with this. This stuff touches everyone, man. I was driving in this morning, and Dan. I found out from Dan we lost a very important member of the Super Talk family just last night, 10 o'clock last night. Her name was Erin Dunlap, and she was an amazing woman, a fantastic mother, a wonderful wife, a great grandmother, and we all loved Erin. We really did. Erin. We have a special bond with you guys in the audience, and you guys really do mean a lot to us. And I try to talk to as many people as I can. And Erin was one of those first listeners that really like opened her arms up and wrapped them around me and was like, I love Chris Hand. And before I even got hired here, she was advocating to Dan that they should hire me. This is before I even knew Erin, and I'm grateful for that, eternally grateful. Erin would constantly be involved in a conversation with us on social media, just sending links and sending news pieces that we might have missed. And it was, Dan mentioned it this morning on his show, but it was the same for me. Dan said, every morning he would go and see what Erin had sent, and when I would do my show prep at night every evening, I would go, and it was like one of the steps of my prep process. Let me go see what Erin sent me, because she was so in the weeds on everything, and we lost a good one in Erin. And I just hope that you, if you didn't know Erin, you missed out, because she was amazing. And if you did know Erin, just know our hearts are with you, and we're praying for you guys, and we love you guys. It's tough, man. Poor Erin. She got diagnosed 6 weeks ago. And it just happened so fast. So it goes back to kind of like how we started the show when we were talking about Kid Rock. Like you can always tell someone you appreciate him until you can't, right? Well, that was his big song at the halftime show. And man, it's the truth. It's the truth. Hug your loved ones while you can, because you never know when you're not going to be able to tell them again. So get right with the Lord and make sure that your loved ones know that you love them. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. I mean, I don't know how I pivot away from that, but I'll do my absolute best. A man is facing calls to be raided by police after he threatened to roofie Republicans at the Young Republicans of Beaver County's party to watch the Trump State of the Union address. Yes, this actually happened. This guy posted on Facebook. His name is Harry Stymius Jr. I don't know if that's his real name or not. He said that he quoted the post from the Young Republicans of Beaver County, and then it's their announcement on their party. And he said, if you even think about going, your drink gets roofied. And it's like, okay, like what an insane person. Now people are calling on him to be arrested, and he should be. Scott Pressler brought a lot of light to this news story, and I'll close with this. If you come to our State of the Union address party at Legend Steakhouse in Smyrna, I promise you, I will not roofie anyone's drinks. I can only speak for myself, but I promise you, I will not roofie your drink. The State of the Union is going to be an awesome party. We definitely want you down there. Tickets are $100. They're available at 997WTN.com. It seems steep, but Each ticket includes dinner. You get your 9-ounce sirloin steak. You get 2 sides, the salad bar, strawberry cake, non-alcoholic beverage of your choice. It's a very intimate party that we're having. Only 100 tickets are available. Get yours before they're gone. If I was a betting man, they're not going to last much longer. We have very, very limited supply. 997WTN.com for your tickets. That does it for today's edition of the Lightning Round. It's 11:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Sand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults. You got a lot of stuff that you need to be protecting in your home. Firearms, jewelry, family heirlooms, those photo albums that you don't want to lose, the stuff that you can't replace, the passports. What are you putting them in? I mean, that's a real question, right? What kind of safe are you putting your stuff in? Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville carries real safes, including UL-rated TL and TR safes, tested and certified to resist tool and torch attacks. These are the kind that will protect your firearms, your precious metals, your jewelry. This isn't a thin box from a big store. Aaron Parker runs the business. He also runs the YouTube page. You can see a detailed review for every safe that they have in stock on their YouTube page. Just search for Parker Safes on YouTube, and you'll know just from watching one of those videos, Aaron's a class act guy. He is a veteran. This is a Christian family business. They've been serving Tennessee since 2009. They answer their phones. They show up on times, and they only sell products that they would trust in their own home. They deliver and service Nashville and the surrounding areas. Shelbyville isn't another country. They can bring the safe right to you. Aaron and his boys will deliver it and install it professionally and discreetly. Give them a call today, 931-842-6445, or you can hop on parkersafes.com to check out all of the inventory that they have today. parkersafes.com. It's 11:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Chad Benson's in studio. I was just telling him, I was telling him about the roofie story.
No roofies.
Out of Beaver County.
Not from you. No roofies for you.
I will not roofie anyone at our State of the Union party, I promise. But I got a text. Do you want to know what the text says?
See what the text said.
8335 said, what if I'm willing to pay extra to have Joan Jones roofie my drink?
Got to ask Joan.
I said, that's a conversation between you and Joan. I can't make those
I feel like
decisions.
Dan's going to roofie himself.
Dan will roofie himself. So funny. Yeah, no, I won't roofie any drinks. Are you roofing any drinks at the State of the Union?
No, I'm not. I'm no roofing at the Stake of the Union.
So only 2 out of 4 have confirmed this, though.
Yeah, we have to ask. You got to ask Dan tomorrow. I'll ask Matt today.
Okay, we can't speak for
Can
the
you
others.
roofie your own drink?
Yeah, I think you can. Technically.
Okay, that's good to know.
Technically, you can.
Yeah, on accident.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something Dan would do on accident.
My wife, when we were dating, was like, yeah, I don't know. What does being roofied feel like? She's like, I don't know. It's like, I'm curious. I'm curious what that's like. I'm like, I don't think you want that.
I don't know. Let's ask Bill Cosby. What's that like?
Bill Cosby couldn't tell. He could tell you what the after effects are. He doesn't know. He's not going to tell you what the.
Well, he could tell you what you went through.
Terrible.
You pass out. I climb on top of you.
Oh, jeez. What are you talking about today on the show?
Oh, we'll talk, I'm sure, a little bit of Super Bowl. We'll talk. It's a big day for nobody being at work.
Dude, what about Ken Weaver?
Can you believe Weaver?
I can.
Text me this morning. I didn't get a lot of sleep. Struggling a bit. I'm like, you.
Mason's out, too.
Yeah. A lot of people. And this year, there was a lot of people that planned to take today off, too.
Mason's was pre-scheduled, though.
Yeah,
so.
sure it was.
They're always pre-scheduled.
Don't cover for him.
He gave me notice 3 weeks ago that he was going to be
sure
out.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I won't.
Don't believe Bell.
Do we think Matt Murphy is going to be back today is the real question.
I don't know. I'm assuming.
He said he had to take Friday off because he said he hurt his back carrying the team.
Yeah, is that what he said?
That's what he said.
Oh, okay.
That's what he said.
Oh, well, I did not know that.
That's what he told me.
Man, I thought he hurt his back picking up his socks.
No, he said it was carrying the team.
Carrying the team. There you go. We all got to lose some weight, or we got to stand on our own feet.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. What'd you talk about today?
Well, we talked about the Super Bowl show. We talked about the Woke Olympics, and then we talked about Minnesota. Minnesota's just bananas. I love it.
Why is Minnesota bananas? Any more than usual? It's cold out there.
Did you see the scene outside the Whipple building? Did you see it? Like all of a sudden, this announcement comes over the loudspeaker, and it says, "Sit down and remain in place. You are under arrest." And then it was like Scar setting off the wildebeests in Lion King, the way they stampeded out of there.
Just all started running.
It was just insane. I love to see it.
Right
Huge fan. Chad Benson's in next. It's 12:01. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.